Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Zinedine Zidane, the next Manchester United manager. Look, it may well be the international break, but we're no snail on the United Stand. We don't retract into our shell. Manchester United are still very much front page news for United fans, and we need to look at the bigger problems and what the future for us is at United. Because a win over Newcastle, scraped, deserved, whatever. Maybe it is a catalyst for Mourinho. Maybe Mourinho is the next Manchester United manager for the next 8 months, 2 years, who knows? But that's what we're going to be looking at in this series. And the first player manager we're looking at, not a player manager unfortunately, because Zidane would offer something to our midfield. Zidane as Manchester United manager, he divides opinion. There are some United fans who say he's a lucky Real Madrid manager. He wouldn't be able to do it in England, but there are pros as well. The pros and the cons. Let's start off with the pros of Zinedine Zidane. 3 Champions Leagues in a row. What are the pros of Zinedine Zidane compared to the negatives, I suppose? Well, 3 Champions Leagues in a row. But the big thing is, and I'm a firm believer in this, and if you listen to some managers, they'll say this as well. When it comes to management, only 30% is probably down to tactics, 70% is down to keeping hold of the dressing room, being a social manager, and that is what you get consistently with Zinedine Zidane. He demands respect. He instantly demands respect because what he's done in the game on the pitch means that there are no equal. There's no equal. And he's managed Ronaldo, but even Ronaldo had that respect for Zidane. The only player he hasn't managed is Messi, but you'd think Messi's a classy guy, he would as well. Zidane has no peers in the dressing room, so when he speaks, people listen, and he maintains only one club. That's the sort of negative. Real Madrid, only one club. But when you look at what he did at Real Madrid, it is that total and utter devotion from his team. At Real Madrid, there was never any issues. There was never any fallouts. And Real Madrid is world renowned for having egos and split dressing rooms and factions. And that never happened under Zinedine Zidane. And that really was one of the big factors behind why Real Madrid was so good. Tactically, not amazing is what Zidane sort of gets fed back. But is tactically really what Manchester United crave at the moment? Or what do Manchester United crave? Do you crave attacking football and players that will play for that badge? I look back at some of Real Madrid's performances over the last 3 years, and specifically I look at those Champions League runs, and you can look at Vidal sending off one year, you can look at late winners, you can look at points in it where you'd say they could nearly have been knocked out, but that is football. There's always something there that if that had gone the other way, you wouldn't have won it. But what runs true with Zidane, I've mentioned this a few times, the Juventus final a couple of years ago, Juventus were the better team in the first half. He changes it at the second half and they go out and win it. And time again, especially in the Champions League, Real Madrid had this bounce back ability, this determination, this devotion to their manager. And yes, tactically, at times it is a bit haphazard. They do concede a lot of goals, or they did concede a lot of goals. But 2 things Zidane has to his bow. It's a double-threaded bow. He has attacking football, and he has total and utter control of the dressing room, and players that have that bounce-back ability. When things aren't going well, they find a way to win. And that can be the difference between not winning a trophy and winning a trophy. And I think some people, quite rightly, if I drop into the negatives for a moment, look, Zinedine Zidane, they do concede goals. They tactically probably weren't, amazing. And they didn't win that, they did lose games, and their league record obviously wasn't as good as their Champions League record. But what he has is something that Manchester United don't have, and that is that togetherness that Zidane just brought to Real Madrid, and the adaptability. And also what I liked about Zidane as a pro is that he never really bought much in the transfer window. If you look at over the 3 summers that he was there was 1 or 2 signings here and there, and they were all good signings, but there was no Galactico signing. People say, well, he was at Real Madrid. It's easy at Real Madrid when you've got Ronaldo. But you look at Real Madrid's recent history over the last 20 years. Yeah, they've won titles. Look at Mourinho's reign there. They won a title. But there was always dressing room unrest. There was always big, massive signings. Zidane really, his core best players were players that had been there for a long time. Yeah, they added players like fullbacks and stuff, but there was no big standout signing. Bale was already there. Ronaldo was already there. Varane and Ramos were already there. Modric was already there. Kroos was already there. He took what was already there, united what was already there. And another thing I liked about Zidane as well is that at times he would use reserves, and he would convince people like Ronaldo to take a break. And Ronaldo, as we know as United fans, never wanted a break. But then at the cutting edge of the season, Real Madrid were there in the Champions League, better than everybody else. Ronaldo scoring loads of goals. He liked to use the youth. He liked to use reserves. And that's something that's massively lacking at United as well. So for me, I look at someone like Zinedine Zidane and I think, for me personally, I'd put him quite right at the top of the tree as the next Manchester United manager, because I think we need a change. I think this devotion to, oh, he's not very good tactically. Well, he's won 3 Champions Leagues. I'm sure he surrounds himself with people who can do more than put the cones out. You know, I'm sure that the training of a club like Real Madrid that's won 3 Champions Leagues was pretty adequate. But I do agree, if you want to take it as a negative, that his focus would be more on bringing the team together and more on attacking football. Defensively, yeah, they shipped a lot of goals, but they scored a lot of goals as well. But what you get with Zidane, if you look at his Real Madrid career, is somebody who controls that dressing room because of the respect and class the man has. You listen to his press conferences and everything like that. He's got an aura. He's a politician, the way he plays the crowd. And he's a politician in the dressing room. And one thing that stands out, when you talk about Manchester United, you get a United dressing room with Zinedine Zidane. And as I said, you can be the best tactical coach in the world. And I think Mourinho tactically is. I mean, look at Pep. He used the Mourinho blueprint to get a point at Liverpool. Defensively, he did. But you can be the best tactical manager in the world. If you haven't got the attitude right to United dressing room, you're never going to win titles. And as I said at the start, 30% of football's tactics. I think 70% of it is what you are as a manager. And there is no or very little out there, evidentially, that Zidane is one of those dividers. He's not. He unites a dressing room. And I think that's more important. You know, Gary Neville talks about the club's lost its leadership and everything like that. One thing we can all agree on is that Jose Mourinho, because of what he is, because of how driven he is, he divides. He divides his dressing room. We need somebody to come in and unite, and that, for me, would be a big plus for Zidane. Of course, the negatives, no experience in the Premier League. Don't think his English is that great. And that Real Madrid lucky tag will hold on to him. And actually, his league form over a league season was nowhere near comparable to the 3 Champions Leagues. But we're talking about a manager that's just won 3 Champions League without very little transfer activity. And I think, I've always said about United, I think the right manager comes in and unites that United team, that's another 20 points. Well, we were second last season. Add 20 points onto that, you're nearly a title-winning side. I think that United team does need 2 or 3 players to win a title, but I also think that United team, as we saw in the second half against Newcastle, when it plays the right way, when it goes for it and everyone's singing off the same hymn sheet, it's a bloody nice song. And I think Zidane can offer that. This is just one video of 4 or 5 we're going to do over the international break. This is candidate 1. Get your comments in below. Give us your thoughts, pros and cons. What do you think about Zidane? But for me, what you get with Zidane, and we'll be looking at other managers over this international break, like I say, of which Mourinho will be one. But what you get with Zidane is a united dressing room. That's what he does. That's what he brings. And that, to me, is what Manchester United definitely need. Whether Mourinho can rescue that, whether another manager can bring it, I don't think the tactical side of Zidane's game actually matters that much when you get a man who players play for, who attack and play attacking football, and he will use the youth and he will use reserves. That's what he will do. But most importantly, he will bring that attacking football to Manchester United that everybody wants to see. The tactics side of things, are we massively bothered about that? I don't know, but we do need a united dressing room, and I think Zidane, that's what he brings. A tick in the box for me. Smash a like on the video if you like this series. We're going to do it over the international break. Loads of things going on. And tonight, we've got Phil Brown on, who on Friday night was one of the people who tweeted that he'd heard that Mourinho was leaving. So we'll be getting the truth behind that tonight as well. Drop a like on the video. Give us your comments. And also, it's not decided. We've got 3 or 4 managers plus Mourinho we're going to talk about. Drop some more in the comments because we're more than happy to cover that over the international break as well. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon.